Nancy Pelosi flatly denies helping her husband gain a stock market advantage after he allegedly purchased millions of dollars in chip stock ahead of a House vote to pass industry subsidies. Listen to this.
Over the course of your career, has your husband ever made a stock purchase or sale based on information you received from you?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. And she's gone. Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch president, joins us now. Tom, she says that she's innocent. Everything is above board. What do you make of this whole thing?
Well, you know, she and her husband are, in my view, the definition of insiders. You have this massive subsidy bill, which is a corporate welfare, that's about to be voted on in the Senate. I think $55 to $75 billion, depending on how you count it. And it's designed to help so-called chip makers. Well, this type of trading suggests it's designed to help Nancy Pelosi. And if I were running the Securities Exchange Commission, I'd look at trades like this by Nancy Pelosi, and there have been others involved in similar insider-type trading, or trading that suggests corrupt trading. And I just presume there's something up, and I do an investigation. You know, if you were in the private sector and you engage in this type of behavior, you would be subject to investigation. And, you know, when you have a massive bill like this passed and you have the Speaker of the House, her family doing investing ahead of time, it not only compromises her office, but it compromises the whole House.
Tom, is there actually a crime that could have been committed here? Or is this just one of the many cracks Congress allows itself to do something that looks improper but isn't actually illegal?
Well, you know, engaging in behavior that looks improper is unethical under the House rules. And so you can have an internal House investigation. We don't know if there was a crime committed. But insider trading is an elastic term, and many American citizens have been caught up in it, and investigations related to it. And Securities Exchange Commission has jurisdiction. You know, I suspect the Biden Securities Exchange Commission isn't going to do much against Nancy Pelosi. But it highlights why this bill is probably bunk and should be stopped, because it's as much about lining the pockets of others as it is about helping chip makers.
Tom, there's also this. We're hearing that the Hunter Biden probe is now reaching what's being called a critical stage, and federal prosecutors are now weighing whether or not to charge him. Possible charges include various tax violations, foreign lobbying violations, and possibly making false statements in connection to the purchase of a gun. Are the feds, do you think, are they going to charge Hunter? And if so, what will the outcome of this be?
Well, I don't know if they're going to charge Hunter. I know we should all be concerned that the Justice Department has been sitting on this and other information related to his misconduct for years, and they still haven't done anything. And now we have these reports suggesting further agony by the Justice Department that's supposed to have a special counsel appointed when there's, again, a conflict of interest. You know, the big question for the Justice Department under Biden is whether they're going to, if they do charge Hunter Biden on gun charges, on bribery, frankly on RICO, whether his father is going to be subject to an investigation. And let's be blunt here. If this was the Trump family, you would have an investigation to rival Watergate targeting the Biden family. But here the Justice Department is agonizing, it looks like, over relatively narrow charges, in the sense that they're doing their darndest to avoid implicating Joe Biden, even though the evidence has him neck deep in this.
You know, Tom, real quick, CBS, ABC, NBC News, none of them covered this. This is a legit scandal, is it not? I mean, this is real news that probably should be covered.
Yeah, I mean, this is news that not only implicates Hunter Biden, the president's son, but the president as well. And there's this international component involving China, Ukraine, and Russia. My gosh, we're in a war in Ukraine, and we don't want to look at the compromised financial interests of the Biden family you know, are right. Frankly, in my view, if you're Putin and company, thinking, you know, why would I stop invading Ukraine? look at Biden. He's compromised here. I'm going to do what I want.
A lot of money, a lot of countries involved in this, and it all links back to what is now the first family. So a lot of questions as well. Yeah. Tom, thanks for joining us this morning.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.